So a giant auto manufacturer just sent James and I down to Southern California, gave us a secret unreleased truck to use for 1 day, and said, go have a mountain bike adventure with it. So we are gonna use that secret truck right there to capture a shot that I've always wanted to get on film. Let's go. But things didn't exactly go to plan, so let's back things up. Oh, look at the sad state of this thing. I haven't pulled out the flight cases since October 2019. So James and I packed up the Ritmos and headed to the airport, feeling pretty nervous, honestly, about how little time we'd actually have with the truck versus how much we wanted to do with it. With timelines this tight, there is literally zero room for anything to go wrong. But everything will be perfectly fine. Wait, why is James on the floor? And why does his face look like that?
So I did something very, very stupid. Yeah, I didn't get what's called an ESTA, which is basically the visa that you need to travel to America. And I thought that was just if you're traveling from the UK, blah, blah, blah. I can't go to San Diego. Ryan's now got on the plane. My bike and his bike have got on the plane, but I haven't.
James? Bye, James. Get this bag off of me. So despite all that, I was determined to make this work no matter what. So I put together my brand new, never ridden, fresh built Ritmo and rolled on over to check out the ocean view from this incredible resort. Yeah, things were looking up. And it was in that moment that I got the good news.
I finally got my ticket, so I'm flying at 5 p.m. and I will be in San Diego at 10:15. Yes!
Yep, things were really looking up. And it was in that exact moment that my stomach gave me the bad news. Last night was not ideal. All of a sudden I just started feeling worse and worse and worse, and I just had to fall into my bed, and I got the shakes and I got a fever at about 9 o'clock last night. I was assuming I wasn't getting out of bed for the rest of this trip. So I got almost no sleep. I'm at 0 for the tank for energy. I don't know, I must have eaten something weird, and then that was that. But let's go.
We finally made it together. Here he is. 11 hours of traveling, two planes later, and we finally made it. The place is insane, and yeah, we've just jumped in the truck.
Oh, and speaking of, which truck are we talking about here? Oh, there it is. Oh. It's the brand new 2023 Chevy Colorado. All right, that's a good looking truck. So the folks over at Chevy told us before the trip that when they were designing the Colorado, they had a couple specific user groups in mind, and one of those was mountain bikers. And you can see that with things like the tailgate that has a middle position if you wanted to hang one of those ultra modern, super long bikes over it. And you can see that like with spots for tools and tie downs everywhere and like a little mini cooler area. And as someone who usually buys older vehicles, it was really cool to see this new modern type vehicle that has all of these actually useful features that are built for people who are having to do things trailside.
Are we ready?
Oh, I'm so ready. Okay. Do you want to steal it? So we've got the truck, we've got the bikes, we've got the Englishman. It's time to ride. So with some help from some local friends, we ended up finding what should be the perfect spot to get this dream shot of mine. And it's a place called Velocity Bike Park in Temecula, California. The main man at the park, Eric, was kind enough to let us utilize this incredible trail system, including the access road, so we can get all the shots we needed far away from any public lands or roads. If you're ever in Southern California, make sure you go and check out Velocity.
We're finally here, buddy. Stretch those legs out, brother.
So they gave us some options for which truck we wanted, and we asked for the Trail Boss version because it's got a factory 2-inch lift on it, which I think we're gonna need today.
Totally, man. So one of the worst things that I have with lifted trucks is control arms go, ball joints go.
So if you're doing the lift yourself, then the vehicle wasn't necessarily designed for it. So all the stuff goes, whereas this is like factory.
Yeah.
And 100%. It's all covered by warranty, so it should last a lot better, hey?
Yeah. Pretty stoked.
Truck stuff. So the idea for this whole trip was, so we got this email from Chevy and they said, hey, just take the truck and go do something with it. And yeah, we could just go drive to a trailhead. I figured we'd use this opportunity for me to get sort of like a dream shot that I've wanted forever and ever and ever. Super high speed, parallel shot of a rider absolutely flying down a trail, which we also need for an upcoming How to Ride Fast with No Fear video. And it's gonna take a bit of a village to get this shot. We've got James and myself, a guy we know, Jesse, he came out to come and help with the shoot. So we should have a good crew. They've cordoned off a bit of the access road of this park for us, where they said that they've got a nice parallel trail running to the road. This sounds great. It kind of sounds perfect. Let's hope it turns out that way.
Can I get a big old yeehaw?
That was really good. So after heading up to scout the location for the first shot,
Step up.
I almost think you could basically stood around for a while and pointed at things, and then had the locals show us how to get it done. And we came up with a pretty decent plan for what we were gonna do. So I think what we're gonna try and do is we're gonna start things off as difficult as humanly possible for both James the rider and me the filmer and Jesse the driver. So we're gonna try and cut across with the truck, get James flying over the step up, and then we're gonna go ripping down this road and try and catch him as much as we can. We'll hopefully time it out so that he crosses back over the road right behind the truck. Someone might die, we'll see.
And that's gonna be me.
James is just, I guess he's just going to hit the jump right away. If he crashes and ruin himself already, I am not gonna be happy. Pretty standard business around here though. He can still ride a bike.
We're riding bikes again, boy! Woohoo!
So because there's only 3 of us, it's really tricky to try and film kind of that third person shot, like what we're doing at the time. Whew. And so I reached out to this 3-footed monster company, and they make just like really crazy magnetic mounts. We're gonna put that right there. Solid. Probably gonna run like an Insta360 1-inch on there, so we'll be able to like run 360 camera and get all the angles we want after the fact. That should get the shots we need. Yeah, this mount is sick. Gotta balance out the gimbal. So this isn't actually the shot that we want to get, but can't pass it up.
Go, go, go! There it is.
Hey!
Yeah!
Okay, so this was our first attempt. I had the gimbal in a terrible setting. I wasn't braced properly, so I ended up falling over in the truck, and James kind of hated his performance. So the first run went about as well as could be expected. For the next runs, I decided to try shooting handheld and brace myself a lot better, and I was decently happy with what came out of that. It kind of has like a Bad Boys 2 shaky action shot kind of look to it, which I thought looked pretty rad. But I did have it in my mind that I wanted to capture something a bit smoother for this one, and in slow motion. So I tossed the camera back on the gimbal, put it in a much better setting, slapped it into slow motion, and we got this. Alright, with the first shot done and dusted and the truck doing so well, we thought we'd treat it to a nice little dirt bath.
And traction control up.
And insert truck music. Yeah, so trucks are pretty fun. Okay, now before getting the truck any dirtier, I was really itching to put my photographer hat back on for a change and get one nice, tasty shot kind of like a shot that you might see in a magazine. And for our younger viewers out there, a magazine is sort of like a website that you print onto paper and hold in your hands. And I mean, I was a little rusty, but I was pretty happy with this shot. I kind of wanted to show the feeling of a mountain biker using the Colorado to race against the sunset to get one last lap in before dark. Speaking of which, despite my best efforts to pretend to be fine running on 0 sleep, 0 food, and pretty ragey internal organs, I had to now spend some quality time laying flat out on the ground, thinking about my life choices.
Okay.
But at least that gave James and Jesse the chance to get one proper lap in at Velocity before we move on to the final shot. Check out these trails.
Straight into it. Jesse's a local rider here, and he always comes first or second in the Enduro, so I don't think I'm going to see him for very long. Oh, wow, it's so hard not to look up and look at that view. Oh, like brand new berms, that's sick.
After a little bit of lying down, I made my way down the access road to the final location. I didn't understand the front camera thing, but now like going up over steep ridges and down really steep things, I 100% get the front camera now. Like I can't see over the hood, but I can see perfectly fine with the front camera. I really want to get a little bit higher so I can get this awesome shot of the truck. But I got to walk through there. And I know that there are lots of rattlesnakes here. So, since shutting down the photo business when we went full-time on YouTube, I feel like I've barely shot anything that wasn't mountain bike related. So this was a nice change.
Oh, buddy.
Now you may have noticed a few time-lapse shots here and there, and that's because at some point we accidentally put the Insta360 into time-lapse mode. Oops. We still managed to capture some interesting moments though. Speaking of which, it was time for the final shot, and here's the setup that we used for it. We had our Canon C70 on a gimbal with a 24mm lens. So we got things dialed in, and I got on the bike for the first time this trip. I may have had nothing left in the tank, and my body may look like it was about to give up at any second, but I'm still pretty stoked on the results of this shot. Getting a shot like this is actually quite difficult, but between having the right group of guys, the right location, and the right truck for the job, we came away pretty proud with what we accomplished. Well, I would say that was a pretty solid trip. A very quick trip, one-day trip, but I think we got what we came for. Everyone on the team from Chevy here was just so unbelievably kind and nice and accommodating, and they got your flight thing worked out immediately.
Yeah, in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, a big thanks to Chevy for thinking of us mountain bikers when designing your vehicles. That truck was honestly like really fun to work with. And it was so good actually that James and his partner Faye are looking into buying the ZR2 version of the Colorado. So might be seeing more of that on the channel soon. And for me personally, someone who is not usually a truck guy, I've now just like fully dove into the whole Silverado EV truck that's coming out later this year. That thing looks wild and like right up my alley. Thanks for watching, everybody. Cheers.